Episode 110, Kimberly and my Dog, the podcast. I did get a haircut. Thank you for mentioning it. I also wore a hat all day, so that's not true because I did shower after. So this is just shower hair.
Did our listeners get the theme song this time? Because I've noticed the last few episodes haven't had the theme song, so I'm wondering if they've just come off of that or not.
No, they don't get the theme song anymore because it's a video podcast, and I'm not going to edit the song into the video podcast.
Okay.
Why are people asking about it?
I've had a question about it, and I happened to notice it myself. I was like, I'm going to listen to our latest episode. And I'm like, where's the jingle? That's like my favorite part. And it's not there, so.
Yeah, so in order for me to put the jingle in, I'd have to get I have to like edit it like a video
Okay.
and then upload it, and that is not worth it for our 8 listeners.
Okay.
Not even close.
Okay. Well, rest in peace, theme song.
It's still there. Eventually, let me know if you hear any more, and I'll do it. Now that I don't have a job, it might be a lot easier. Maybe I will do it. Yeah, today it's hot chocolate. Drinking hot chocolate.
Oh, he's gotten rid of the cinnamon tea. How has it been on the old picket line?
Do you know what was cool today? Was that there's a cat in the window, sorry.
Oh, okay.
So I volunteered, what they call volunteering, to deliver important checks to people.
Mm-hmm.
That was a 5-hour thing. You get $50 to do it, but it also goes towards strike pay. So I get the $50 for doing it, plus the full day strike pay. So
okay,
made a cool $106 today.
So I guess, as far as I understand, a strike day isn't it only half of your daily wage or something?
No.
I thought they only let you work. You only get to picket for half your shift.
You do. You get to picket for 4 hours, but strike pay it's $56 for those 4 hours.
Okay.
So that's like $14 an hour or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, $14 an hour, which is not what I make. In fact, that's not even minimum wage.
Yeah, it's the price you pay for wanting more. You know.
Look, I don't want anything. I just want to work.
Well, you would like the extra 22% in your wage, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but 22% is never happening.
That's quite an outlandish request. But hey, I support you all the same. My friend Corey, who you know, who's also you saw him today.
He looks good. Yeah, I was at Glanford today.
Oh, was he making spam masubi? Did you see him making that?
No, he was just standing there.
It's from what I saw. He sent me a picture of him making spam masubi for all the people that were picketing. And gave it to him.
They have quite the cool setup at the Glanford one where he is. Langford there's nothing here.
Well, I've delivered water to the Glanford one. It's kind of interesting. But I only ever go into like where the truck depot is, or went, I guess.
But like they have a nice tent where they have all the. I think they have like a barbecue in there and like the treat tent. But in Langford, there's nothing. You have to pick it around like where the parking is for the buses. It's been dry so far, but it's supposed to rain tomorrow morning, so prepare for
bring an umbrella. Well, what you can do is you can get your picket stick, your picket sign, and then you just tape an umbrella to the sign so that it's dual function.
Yeah, our picket signs go around our necks, so we don't hold anything.
Okay, well, just giving you an idea, and that's fine. We have a comment, by the way, in one of our live chats. I'm not sure which one it is, but it says we want the theme song back. That's from Molly Whoppin, the Big Whopper. So right. The people have spoken.
Yeah, I'm not gonna touch that one. So good for her. She can say that to my face if she wants it so badly.
Okay. It's probably somebody you know.
Um, yeah, so that's been fun. Um, I get paid tomorrow, a full paycheck, so I'm not too worried about it. But talk to me in 2 weeks when I only get half a paycheck, and then talk to me in another 2 weeks when I don't get a paycheck.
Mm.
Then we'll see how we do.
What, does like your strike pay run out or something? Is that how that works?
No, but like we worked, like this is just a regular paycheck.
Okay.
It just
Yeah, I know.
happens to come
I
down.
understand this, and then you're like, next, ask me in 2 weeks when you get half pay, and then you're like, ask me another 2 weeks when I don't get anything. Why wouldn't you get
Okay,
anything?
well, in 2 weeks from now, we'll get paid just for the 1 week before the 4 days we worked before picket
Mm-hmm.
day, strike day,
Mm-hmm.
and then I won't have worked, so we don't get any money. But you're right, we do get strike pay, which is we get paid out once a week, up to $256 or whatever.
Mm.
Pretty cool. Pretty
Well,
cool.
hopefully your strike doesn't last too long. That would be bad for you.
Hard to say. Hard to say. I don't know what's going on. They tell us, but
You don't listen.
nothing. So it's been 2 weeks since we've talked, but
Yes.
it's felt like a lot longer than 2 weeks for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's the same for you.
It does feel like it has been like just eons ago since we've last spoken.
Yeah, so much has happened.
So much has happened. Sorry, my
Yeah, that's okay. Every time.
Moose is doing his thing. That's fine.
What have you been doing? What have you been up to? It's all about me.
What have I been up
So
to?
you let.
Well, I went into a new position at my work. Basically,
Rubbing it in.
There's wasn't any sort of like wasn't a promotion. It's just like a change in scenery, basically. But what I was doing
Oh.
before was like called Center Station, which was basically like putting orders together for different facilities outside of my hospital.
Mm-hmm.
And now I've moved over to receiving. So basically just all like the shipments we get in through Purelator and UPS and FedEx.
Right.
And just receiving stuff.
The enemies.
Yes. Although Purelator doesn't Canada Post own Purelator or something?
They own a part of Purelator yet. Purelator, they're nice to us because they're like, we're not going to touch anything from Canada Post because union pride or whatever. So that's good.
Mm-hmm.
So okay. So the one time I've been there.
Jesus Christ. Sorry, I'll have someone check on whatever the hell just happened there. Something over there.
Hey, get off the computer and go see what's going on.
What happened? Oh, their cat tower got tipped over somehow.
Somehow, huh?
Somehow. He had got finished with his flurry of cat litter box scratching, and it pissed him off. Pissed him off real good. Okay, well. Excitement over.
So the one time I was at your work.
Mm-hmm.
So did I go through receiving or did I go through central?
Yeah, you went through receiving. Well, basically, you kind of went through the big bay doors, and then like as soon as you came in through the doors on the left, that was receiving, and then you went through
Right.
like the supply warehouse, and like Center Station was on like the right hand side. So I know it's all in like the same building, same room. Even it's a big room, but
Right. So you're not really changing anything. You're just kind of going closer to the cold.
yeah, that's basically it. Doing slightly different, have slightly different responsibilities. Yeah, it's been a nice little change. That's about it.
How does Ben and Greg feel about this?
I mean, they get to see me less. But Greg is very nice. He comes up and he visits me. Little Ben comes up and visits me every once in a while as well. So,
Oh, right, not Big Ben.
yeah, not medium bend either. It's 3 bends. But yeah,
Well,
there's
and
that.
it's just same pay and nothing changes.
Same pay. My shift changes slightly. Instead of 7 to 3, I work 7:30 to 3:30. So a little extra half hour of sleep, which is fine, and I still get off pretty early. So
Well, that's good. As long as you're happy, we're happy.
yeah, and yeah, nothing else really going on. My paddling club is trying to decide what to do as a goal race next year. It sounds like it might be between this race it's called like the Alcatraz race, which you can guess is you race around Alcatraz Island, I assume. I don't know that for certainty, but I'm pretty certain. And then there's also a race like in Toronto, which would be interesting. A race that both of them I haven't done before, so.
I feel like the San Francisco one would be better than the Toronto one.
Yeah, but I guess part of the reasoning for that Toronto one is like if the U.S. is somewhere that people don't want to go in,
Right.
come next, I think it's August. Like if it's just a place that, you know,
Health,
you know what I mean?
hellscape. Gotcha.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So just stick to Canada. So yeah, both seem interesting enough to me. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I had this past weekend I was at a record show. I was at like Fernwood Community Center, and I volunteered a little bit for that because I know one of the guys that puts it on. So like I was like door security before the event started, just to like get all the vendors sorted out, and because I guess what's happened in previous years is the vendors come and they set up. I think it's like 2 hours before the doors open, and then they bring like help. But what ends up happening is that helps for 5 minutes or so, and then they just start going and looking through the records of other vendors before the other people get there, just as a way to get the good stuff before everyone else does. And I get this year they really sort of buckled down on that. It made it like you have to make clear who your help is, and like also tell us like why you need help, and then only those people can be on the list. So to prevent that, I had to be really, serious about who I let in and who I don't.
I see signs all the time for these vinyl shows. There was one at the Mary Winspear. I was going to tell you about it.
Yeah.
A few months ago, but I forgot.
That's all right. My finger's on the pulse. I knew about that already.
Of course, yeah. You don't need to walk past a telephone pole. You know these things.
Mm-hmm. I do indeed. So that's what's basically going on with me.
That's great news. Great news. Last thing I'll say about the strike. Literally, everybody's asking me about it. I went out today delivering in a Canada Post vehicle wearing my uniform. I had a lot of weird stares. People
right. Aren't you supposed to be striking right now? Yeah.
But a lot of people were like, thank you so much for delivering these checks. I really appreciate it. Warmed my heart for my $50. But they have the union put out a strike Spotify playlist.
Oh.
And it's wild. I gotta find it again.
Is this something like a playlist that anyone can contribute to, or is it like, someone in corporate put this together?
I don't know. I haven't looked into it.
It's an interesting idea, I suppose.
I can't find it now, but from what I remember, it's a lot of like Dolly Parton 9 to 5. There's a Britney Spears song, Work Bitch.
Okay.
It's called.
I see. I see what they're doing.
Yeah, it's quite big. Oh, here we go. Strike Solidarity Playlist.
Strike Solidarity Playlist. There's a postal office like right across from my work.
Yes.
And every time I'm off work, I drive by and I give them a nice sort of in agreeance honk.
Right. Yeah, we love the honks.
Yeah. So I'm showing my support because I have friends who deliver mail. Although I think you're
Um,
asking for too much.
yeah, well, I'm not asking for anything.
Right.
Um,
Right. You have made that clear. This is not you personally. This is your union.
I Fought the Law by The Clash.
Mm,
Fight for Your Right by the Beastie Boys. Get Up, Stand Up, Bob Marley.
right.
Fight Song.
We're not going to
For some
take it
reason,
by Twisted Sister.
oh, I'm
Probably.
probably, yeah.
Probably on there.
Killing in the Name of Rage Against the Machine. That one's a little weird. We Are Family. Tub Thumping
By Sister Sledge?
by Chumbawamba. Oh, Sister Sledge, We Are Family, yeah. Respect, Aretha Franklin. I Won't Back Down, Tom Petty. Money, Money, Money by ABBA for some reason. It's giving me a little, like, it's going both ways here.
Canada Post goes both ways.
Staying Alive by the Bee Gees. Cruel Summer by Taylor Swift.
There you go.
Quite
Fits in perfectly as it is summertime currently.
Oh yeah, that's the thing too. We're striking in the worst time of year.
Yeah, you had a damn cyclone yesterday or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it did rain a little bit this morning, but then it was nice. It was a beautiful day.
It was a nice day. Slightly brisk. Definitely not as cold as yesterday. Yesterday, it felt like it must have been 1 or 2 degrees or something. It was quite cold.
I almost lost my toes.
Yeah.
I have to wear so many layers, but I love my struggle.
Do you get to are there? From what I'm imagining about Canada Post is that you're like pretty much by yourself all day, so that you probably aren't like a whole lot of like hanging out with your coworker. And so, do you have like a coworker that you tend to like hang out with on the picket line, or are you kind of just hanging out by yourself, or what's going on with that?
Well, so I'm doing it in Langford, but I work in Sandwich, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there are a few of us who do work in Sandwich who live in Langford that do the Langford thing. So there are a few of us who just kind of hang out.
Mm.
But I wasn't there today because I did the Langford thing. So I'm hoping that by me being like not showing up, they'll be like, "Oh, he didn't show up, so I'm not going to show up," because they didn't deliver checks.
Right.
So then I'll be alone, and then I can just walk alone for 4 hours. Ideal. My goodness.
Right. That would be my ideal situation as well. What so not show up, like could you just not go onto the picket line, or is like you pretty much mandatory?
It's not mandatory, no. You don't have to picket. I'm sure there are people who haven't picketed once.
Interesting.
Just if you want to get paid, you do it.
Right, paid the little scraps.
But yeah, no, it's definitely not mandatory.
I thought I was reading. I thought I was reading to, if I was making sense of it, that there's going to be some sort of back pay for if you do get an increase in pay, it'll like be. But I don't know.
Yeah, it'll be back paid to. I've heard like February.
Okay.
And I've heard like, even before that. So I don't know, but I hear back pay is in the works. It's great.
Yeah. When my contract was renegotiated for my union, back pay was part of it, but they don't like make it a separate payment. It just goes on one of your paychecks, and then you get just taxed like crazy, and you barely get any of it. But it's better than nothing, I guess.
Yeah, so we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah.
Did you watch any movies today?
I did watch a movie today. Yes. Felt like an eternity. But I did watch a film. It's just one 2-hour-long film.
Did you watch it on YouTube?
I did. It's free on YouTube.
It's great. Perfectly good on YouTube.
Yeah, I like when there's a free film on YouTube and it's like good enough quality that I can actually watch it. And when you can put on the subtitles and it's not like auto-generated. Somebody's gone in and typed them out. Although the one for this one was pretty bad. But I am a guy who likes to watch movies with his subtitles.
I didn't watch it with subtitles. Did they subtitle Nobody's when nobody spoke, like his language? Did they subtitle that?
No,
So that we knew. Yeah, okay.
no.
So we weren't supposed to know what they were saying.
That's what I gathered. Yeah.
Okay. No, not Nobody. Dead Man. 1995 Dead Man, Johnny Depp. Uh, Johnny Depp. So 2 weeks ago, you were like, "Look at this movie we're gonna watch. Look at all these people in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
All the famous, the Crispin Glovers, the Billy Bob Thorntons, the whatever the dude's name was. I mean, we didn't even talk about Iggy Pop, but John Hurt. They were
Yeah.
in it for like 2 seconds.
Yes. Alfred Molina.
Alfred Molina, yeah, the bigot, Alfred
Yeah.
Molina.
Yeah. That's true. It was kind of just quick little cameos. Not exactly adding a whole lot to the film, really.
So you didn't like the movie?
No, not a ton. But it was definitely a movie. I was telling Mackenzie this. It's a movie that I could see somebody like really liking and thinking is like this super deep masterpiece, and I could think someone thinking it was this horrible piece of garbage that's super boring. I'm probably more on the middle, maybe leaning more towards like it being a little bit boring. But maybe I just wasn't in the right headspace for it or something. But it was definitely like a movie that I feel like someone who was in film school would be like all over.
Sure. I didn't
It's
know who
like
William Blake
sort of,
was, so that kind of ruined it for me.
yeah. I mean, I looked it up after, just some English poet or whatever.
This movie
But
took
yeah,
some creative license.
hmm
Um, music ran pretty throughout. Is it
yeah.
Neil Young?
It was Neil Young. That was a choice.
Yeah, I don't know if I like that.
No,
The same kind of guitar. I mean, it wasn't. I didn't hate it. It was just like it did fit with like their cut. So this film cut quite a bit, like scene
yes,
black, black to
yeah,
scene, black to scene.
yeah.
So I mean,
Which
I didn't mind that. Different.
yeah. I think the cutting to black. I mean, if I'm remembering correctly, with Ghost Dog, I think it did that too, quite a bit. So maybe that's just like a Jim Jarmusch style. But definitely by the end of the movie, the soundtrack and the cutting were starting to get pretty grating. And I was like, okay, I'm pretty over this.
Yeah, overused.
Yeah.
Black and white too. It didn't have to be black and white.
No. I even thought this movie would probably be better if it wasn't.
Yeah, just remember the blood.
Yeah, I just thought maybe it would add a little bit of excitement. I think that's kind of part of the problem with this movie. I guess I think if you look up this movie, it says it's like a Western, which I mean, in some regards it is, but I think with a lot of Westerns that I've seen, usually there's like at least some action or some excitement, but I think this movie had like ideas of excitement, like what was part of the plot would have been exciting, but it kind of just made it a little bit, it was just kind of dull. Like it wasn't exciting.
It's actually an acid western.
Acid Western, yes, of course. So I find myself being like, even though interesting ideas were happening, it was not done in an engaging way in my mind. So that's why for part of this movie too, since it was on YouTube, I just put it at like 1.25 and 1.5 times speed because I'm like, this is just kind of just want to get through this. So that's what I did.
Yeah, the ending was like that for me.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, should I just skip and just read what happens? But like, I had 10 minutes left.
Yeah.
Might as well go for it. Two interesting things though that
Mm-hmm.
I liked. Well, because it was different. Like you kind of assume a movie like this is going to go a certain way, and then some guy eats another guy, and you're like, okay, weird
Yes.
cannibalism.
Yes.
Love to see it in the little floppy arm. Cool. And
Mm-hmm.
then the same guy steps on a dude's skull and just like crushes
I
him.
did like the
Okay,
stepping on the skull.
yeah,
Squished very easily.
that's kind of out of what you'd think this film is going. So I mean that those kind of things. There wasn't enough of that for
Yeah.
me to be swayed more one way
Hmm.
to the other. But yeah, I think it was boring-ish because it was black and white. That kind of helped.
Yeah, that could be part of it. I did like the. Apparently, from what I read, a couple like more academic articles about the movie was like the depiction of like Native American culture was like pretty accurate,
Mhm.
which I think from what I read, because I remember reading up quite a bit about Ghost Dog too, is like samurai culture and stuff. Like apparently he was quite true to like true to fact, I guess. Like he was pretty accurate with how you know that was depicted. So I think maybe that's just kind of his style.
Mhm.
So I mean, I did end up liking that aspect of it. So
Yeah,
that was cool.
Jim Jarmusch.
Jim Jarmusch. So I'm not so sure I'm really sold. I think he's just kind of like, I'm trying to think, because I really like David Lynch movies. I mean,
Yeah.
not all of them, but I do like a lot of his. And I can't help but think that Jim Jarmusch stylistically is fairly similar to David Lynch, I guess. Like maybe the films being kind of like dreamlike and maybe being one similarity, but I don't know. I think maybe he just doesn't pull it off quite as well as David Lynch does.
I
Yeah.
like the acting.
The acting was pretty good. I thought maybe,
Well, two. The two main characters were really good.
yeah, I did like Johnny Depp. He was maybe not in the last 10 minutes when he was like, kind of like his eyes were rolling back and just kind of like,
Mm.
that part was just kind of boring. And I don't know if that was
Well, he's never
overacted a little bit.
died. He's never died before. He doesn't know how to do it.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess so. Yeah. Just kind of a strange, a little bit boring. I mean, clearly there's lots of messages probably trying to be depicted and going on there, but maybe I just didn't pick up on them. Maybe I'm not smart enough for this movie.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Probably. Gary Farmer is nobody. I liked him.
Yeah, I did like him
Sad,
too.
sad about the ending.
That's the third movie podcast movie he's been in.
Friend of the podcast, yeah. Gary
Yep.
Farmer.
He was in Smoke Signals and also briefly in Ghost Dog as well. But yes, I did like his character. The two main characters were good. It's a good thing they pulled that off because I think this movie would have really been a tough watch otherwise.
Gabriel Byrne, also in this film, very briefly. He was Ghost Ship,
Gabrielle
the old guy
Byrne.
in Ghost Ship.
Oh
The old
yes,
guy who was locked in the thing.
yes, yes,
He
yes,
died real quickly.
yes. Sure did.
Yeah, Billy Bob Thornton died real quickly.
Mm-hmm.
He was good though.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can see
Iggy
more of
Pop.
Billy Bob.
Iggy Pop.
Iggy Pop, yeah, cross-dressing dude.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm sorry this film was so boring for you.
Yeah, it's a tough watch. Tough watch. Again, it could have just been the wrong day to watch it. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
Did you find it
I
boring at
watched.
all?
I can see how it was boring. There were times where yeah, maybe it dragged on, but it was that kind of a movie though. Like they were on horses going through,
Mm-hmm.
the forest or whatever, the
Mm-hmm.
western lands. So you kind of had to expect that it's going to kind of drag. It's telling a story. Johnny
Yeah.
Depp evolved from this accountant to this man who just easily killed people.
Yes.
Just and then funny scene though was when after he stabbed, like really quickly stabbed Alfred Molina's hand and then shot him a bunch. And
Hmm.
then he's like, I'm tired.
Yeah, that was good. There was like a tiny bit of humor in this movie, which was, when it was there, it was pretty good. I thought, I also read another review that this movie was like very Cormac McCarthy. I don't know if you've read any of his books.
The
I think
Road.
yeah, it's on the road and All the Pretty Horses and
Was he?
Blood Meridian.
No, right. He wasn't the Tommy Lee Jones Javier Bardem movie. No
No
Country
Country
for
for
Old
Old
Men.
Men. No, that's not Cormac McCarthy. I don't think. Pretty sure
It's
it's not.
somebody famous.
Pretty sure it's not. But yeah, and I agreed. I think I've read 4 of his books. It's definitely 3 or maybe 4. But I
Um,
thought,
the author of No Country for Old Men is Cormac McCarthy.
okay, there you go. I was wrong.
Well, you
It's a good
weren't
movie.
wrong.
I
We
almost
didn't
picked
know.
The Road for the podcast once, but I didn't.
I haven't seen the movie. I just read the book.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's all I got to say about that.
Okay, let's see. See what else. Neil Young recorded the soundtrack by improvising on his electric guitar.
Yes, that doesn't surprise me.
One of the 3 bad guys at the beginning of the movie, the ones who end up dying and being eaten, he sleeps with a teddy bear in a scene. But this film was set in the late 19th century, and the teddy bear was invented in the early 20th century. So pretty silly.
Yeah. What were they thinking?
The guy who played John Dickinson died right after the movie.
Oh, right after.
Yeah, a lot of William Blake quotes. So if you're gonna watch the movie, make sure you want to know who William Blake is. Gary Farmer reprised his role as a reincarnation of Nobody in Ghost Dog. So he played Nobody in Ghost Dog.
Yeah.
17 people died.
Well,
Yeah, dead man.
dead man. Man dead.
Dead man.
Dead man.
Okay, well, do you want to get to the scores then? I'm ready
Let's get to the
to
scores. Let's do
kick
that
this
part of
movie to
it.
the curb.
Let's do it.
Okay, well, how did you like the acting?
I thought the acting was pretty good, especially 2 main characters for sure. There weren't really too many characters that I didn't like. Maybe the 3 main guys that were hired by Dickinson to go after Johnny Depp.
Mm-hmm.
I thought maybe if I were to nitpick, that's who I'd pick. Maybe not as good performances, but definitely some solid acting overall. I think maybe I would go for like a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, I mean, those 3 guys, you kind of wanted more of a. Well, it's more of an ending thing, so never mind. Yeah, I liked acting a lot. Thought Johnny Depp was great in this. He was fun to watch. The chemistry between him and Gary Farmer, amazing. They had some comedy,
Mm-hmm.
which was great to see. And yeah, everybody else was kind of fine. Not bad. So I'm gonna actually give it an 8. 8 out of
Okay.
10.
Okay.
For ending though, I will say it was boring. Yeah, I mean, it had a point, right? It played its part. The movie's called Dead Man, so you kind of, especially when he got shot again at the end, you're kind of expecting death to happen, not necessarily to nobody.
Mm-hmm.
And then you kind of wanted, so when they sent the 3 guys off to go find him, you kind of wanted a bigger payoff at the end than just him, the cannibal, shooting nobody.
Yeah.
Like them killing each other, you kind of would have wanted to see more of a fight between Johnny Depp and the guy.
Yeah.
But instead, he gets killed by just some like nobody guy who shoots him from behind. Kind of lame, in my opinion. Um, Boring but thoughtful and inspiring. I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 10.
Okay. Yeah, I'm probably hovering around that as well. I did find the last 10 minutes a little bit tough to watch. And yeah, sort of like the culmination of the bad guys chasing Johnny Depp, like rather unceremonious, I suppose. Just kind of like, okay, that's over with. And then there Johnny Depp goes in the canoe. So yeah, I thought it could have been done a little better. I think maybe I'd give it a 5 as well.
Okay, well, what would you give the movie out of 10 overall?
Out of 10, out of 10, out of 10. Yeah, I struggled a bit with this one. I found it a little boring, not as exciting as I would have hoped. And I mean, I can get into a film that has, deeper meaning and there's and stuff like that, and more serious. But I guess I just couldn't get into this one. I just didn't really understand, I guess, what they were trying to go for, even with, like, I often do that with a film that I don't really understand. I mean, I can't say that I understand every film the first time I watch it. I'll go and read something about it or whatever. And even like with some explanations, I was kind of like, I don't know if I really see it. So I just didn't really get the movie's message, and so I had to take it mostly at face value. And at face value, it was just kind of like a drawn out sort of, kind of boring thing. So I would just give it a 5 out of 10. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't exceptional. A lot of people think this is like a masterpiece film. I just didn't see it. 5 out of 10.
You give it a 5 out of 10?
Yeah, 5.
Okay. Well, this movie is a 6 out of 10 for me. Just like a classic 6. I don't know. The acting was good. The movie wasn't bad. I mean, it wasn't perfect. Obviously, a little boring. Entertaining. Could it have been an hour and a half? Who knows? So I give it a 6 out of 10, which I think that fits with its IMDb score. Which is
on Letterboxd, this movie is just about an 8 out of 10.
It's 7.5 out of 10. Well, not for us. Not for us.
Yeah, I think of a film like this that's meant to be thought-provoking and sort of like more than just a surface level thing can be more engaging. It's been done before, and you can get like 2 levels of entertainment out of it, like find that deeper meaning and also just be entertained by it, just at the surface, which I just don't think that this movie found that balance.
Yeah. Very well said. But that's it for Dead Man. Episode 110 done. Episode 111, though, is next. I asked a question today before dinner to my wonderful girlfriend. I'm like, give me a movie you want to watch that I can bring to Jesse for the podcast. And she was like, Lord of the Rings. And I'm like, no. She's like, Her. And I'm like, no. Have you seen Her?
Yes.
There were others, and then she gave me The Birdcage. I'm like, okay, that sounds good. See, I can watch that. And then you're like, I've seen it already. So we're not doing any of our movies. We're going to watch a movie I have on my list. It is... I don't know if you know who Michael Douglas is.
Yes. He's in a movie called The Game. He's in other things.
The Game. He's also in a movie called Falling Down. Falling Down, yeah. And that's what we're watching.
That's great. I've meant to watch that movie.
Him and Robert Duvall. Good combination.
I've seen one scene from that movie a lot where he's like trying to get breakfast at the fast food restaurant, and it's 2 minutes past breakfast time, and he's not so happy about it. But I have not seen the whole film, so I'm excited for that.
So we watched an acid western, and now we're watching a psychological thriller.
Rolling down. That's great.
It's not nearly as long either. It's only an hour and 53 minutes, not 2 hours and 1 minute. So.
Plus, there's guns, and so my very simple mind goes, guns, cool, excitement.
To be fair, though, there were guns in the last one.
Oh, you're right.
Quite a lot of guns, yeah.
There were a lot of guns.
17 people were shot and killed.
Yeah, there was a lot of shooting and guns. Forgot about that. This movie just sucked the fun out of me and just took my fun memories out as well. I think that's what it did.
Yeah, not many big stars in this one. But should be interesting. I think it's on Crave. You don't have Crave. I don't have Crave. So never mind.
That's right. I'll find a way. I found it interesting. I was looking up before I watched Dead Man. I was thinking about Ghost Dog, the other Jim Jarmusch movie, and I'm like, I remember really liking the soundtrack to the movie, and I looked it up, and it did come out on vinyl. I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. And I'm like, I wonder if the Dead Man soundtrack came out on vinyl. This is before I'd watched the movie, and it did. I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. And then I watched the movie. I'm like, what's the soundtrack? Just Neil Young playing like a different note every few seconds, just for an hour and 12 minutes, or however long the album is. I don't remember exactly how long the album is.
It's an hour and 2 minutes and 31 seconds.
Yeah, an hour and 2 minutes of just meow, 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 meow. Does like that the whole time.
The first 4 songs are called Guitar Solo 1, Guitar Solo 2, Organ Solo, Guitar Solo 3. So. But then there's one called The Round Stones. And Why Dost Thou Hide?
From what I read quickly on that is apparently that's like an interlude where Johnny Depp like reads a poem. And those are probably like the names of the poems.
Right.
And then it goes back to just playing guitar.
Guitar Solo number 6.
Yeah. So you'd have to be a real certain level of like hipster to have the Dead Man soundtrack on vinyl. Like there would have to be something like a little bit wrong with you. Because, I mean, I have the Eraserhead soundtrack on vinyl, which is also like fairly, what's the word I'm looking for? Sort of drones on a little bit, but then there's some difference, some like different things going on in different parts of the movie that isn't just like the same tone the whole entire thing. So it makes for a cool soundtrack. One that I've thought would be really cool, like if you were hosting a haunted house, you know how some people do that? That would be a good haunted house like soundtrack. Whereas this movie, I wouldn't recommend that. So, have you seen Eraserhead?
No.
That's a weird one.
I have seen the price for the vinyl for Dead Man. On
Probably
Amazon,
not cheap.
$327. But on this random website, you can get it for $203.
Yeah, Discogs? Is that what the random website is?
It is.
Yeah,
Discogs.
That's what I use to buy vinyl online. And I also have my whole entire collection cataloged. I'll probably send it to you. Why not? Just so you can get a little glimpse into what my record collection is like. But
send me your whole record collection?
Yeah, there's like a really, really good cataloging tool for vinyl records. And so whenever I get a new record, I put it into my little Discogs thing. That way I can remember exactly what I have. And vinyl is kind of a weird medium in that like albums get re-released like a million times in tons of different variations depending on like what country and if it's the first pressing, second pressing. So on Discogs, it has every single release, so you can find like the exact release of your record. So I like how accurate it is in that sense.
You gifted me quite a few vinyl records many, many years ago, and they're still in my house.
I do remember that. I had some extras that I think were doubles. And I think what happened was, I remember that one time Chris Sweet came to our house. And I sold him, like, I think it ended up being like 2 records or something. But that was when I was sort of purging a lot of my records. And I think I just let you just pick ones you wanted, if I'm not mistaken.
Still have them. Need to get rid of them. I guess I'll go to the vinyl show, and I'll just sell them for free.
So that's a great idea. Sell them for free.
It's not bad.
And I know you have a Vampire Weekend record.
Yeah. One of those.
I remember that. I remember one time you did a short film that I starred predominantly in, and I pulled a record from those records I gave you. It was a Billy Joel record, if I remember correctly.
I don't know. It's on YouTube if you want to watch it.
Yep.
Somewhere.
I wouldn't really know what to search for that, but...
Do you want me to send it to you? Sure, I can find it.
You could. From what I remember, it's just on your YouTube, and I think your YouTube is just like Josh Sales. Pretty sure.
Oh, never say my name out loud.
Oh.
Videos.
Whoops. I'm pretty sure if you look up the bio of our podcast on Spotify and whatever else, it just says our names. So.
Yeah, I went through a phase. It was a minute and 13-second video. It's 7 years ago, and it's just called Writing 320 Project 2. A sunny day.
How many views does that have?
43.
Whoa. I bet you like 10 of those are me.
Yeah, not sure how the views work.
I think.
Oh my God.
I remember you saying that the class enjoyed your film.
Unsure. I think I got an A on it.
Nice.
I did really well in school. No big deal. Writing.
And actually, with your writing degree, you work at Canada Post. And with my English degree, I work in a medical supply warehouse. So I think we're really applying ourselves sort of through our academics. And it's really working out.
They came out with with like you have to make this amount of money in order to live. If you have living wage in a city today, the living wage in Victoria is like 27 something. So if you're like, man, you guys are asking for too much money, I don't even make the living wage. Okay, I can't even live. Let me make living wage. I'll be happy.
I think if I didn't have benefits, I think the people who work casually at my work make more than the living wage. But if you take benefits and all that crap, it's like 15% less or whatever. So it's under.
I don't even have benefits right now. I can't hurt myself.
Yeah, don't get in a workplace accident while you're on the picket line. It's the worst time to do it.
Or any accident. Yeah. Don't get hit by a car.
Yeah, that would be bad.
Yeah. Falling down. Dead man and then falling down.
Falling down. I'm sure you said the year that came out, but if I were to just throw out a year at you right now, I'd say like 1996, maybe?
You're so not correct. No, it's 1993.
Ah. Okay. 1993, year after I was born.
So we're hitting the 90s. We're a 90s / early 2000s podcast. Because Wendy Wu, 2006, but close enough. Ghost Ship, 2002. Ichi the Killer, 2001. Talented Mr. Ripley, 99. Dead Man, 95. This one, 93. So we're hitting the good ones.
That is definitely our wheelhouse.
No new movies.
Not usually. We've done it, but it's not common.
Gotta get you to watch The Substance.
Yeah, it's on my list. On my list.
Okay.
Well, I think we've just passed the 50-minute mark, if I'm not mistaken.
You would not be mistaken.
For some reason, when we do the podcast in this format, video, that is, it doesn't show me a running time on my screen anymore. So I have to do quick maths, knowing that we started at probably 8:46 or 8:47.
But when it did audio, it did show you a time.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
It is crazy.
Trying to get the theme song so somebody's happy.
Well, yeah, all you need to do really is just
play it at the beginning.
Just play it at the beginning over like a black screen for, the 12 seconds it is, and then save that file with the theme song over a black screen and just edit that into the first 12 seconds of the video.
But the issue is I have to edit it, you have to take it, download it, put it into another thing, then edit it, and then download it. You know what?
I see.
I'll have time tomorrow. I'm done at 10, so I'll look into it.
Time. You don't even have to be done at 10. You don't even have to go to work if you don't want to. Oh, hell yeah.
No, I don't technically have to. And you know what? That would be something I think about on Friday.
Right.
Because
you'd be like, do I need the $56 today? Or do I need a day off?
Today I worked technically 2 days. Got straight pay and I got paid for delivering. So take Friday off. And then, you know what? Hopefully they figure it out. We're back to work on Monday with our nightmare of a week's worth of mail sitting there.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. Quite a diabolical backlog of mail, I anticipate.
And parcels, because it's like we're gearing up for the heaviest part of our year.
Yeah.
Christmas.
Maybe the Canadian government would be like, you know what, the Canada Post is of an old-timey time in our life of history. Maybe we just don't need it anymore, and you'll just be on strike indefinitely.
Well, if they get rid of Canada Post, we would stop striking because we wouldn't have jobs to strike for.
Well, they would just leave you in limbo. There's they'll just string you along.
And then somebody would be like, "Hey, we should read the news," and then be like, "Oh, Canada Post, they stopped Canada Post as a business 3 weeks ago." Like, wow, who's paying for all these donuts?
Right.
Not us.
Well, it's been a can of corn for this episode. And just a cheerful, sort of happy time. And I really appreciate your time, everybody. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you for your comments and your concerns. That's it for us. Okay, bye.
That's all.